Let's hear from both sides of the aisle here, going head-to-head. Sinclair Political Commentator Ameshia Cross and host of America First on Salem Radio and Sinclair Media contributor Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Okay, guys, let's start with the D.C. protest. Ameshia, I'll start with you. Kind of an ugly day in the nation's capital. Go.
Absolutely. What we saw was an insurrection. We watched as individuals who have fashioned themselves as protesters who absolutely are not patriots, but people who align themselves with President Trump, these MAGA individuals who had organized online for months now and basically took his marching orders. They were here in the nation's capital. They broached the Capitol to basically try to thwart what is considered a procedural advancement to ensure the peaceful transfer of power. That is what we saw yesterday. These individuals who have no concern for our democracy, no concern for our Constitution, but a love of all things Trump and a love of all things these conspiracy theories pop up and feel like they are defending President Trump, marching around with Confederate flags. We now know that 4 people were actually killed yesterday. We saw an incitement of violence, and all of this on the heels of a president who continues to ignore the fact that he lost re-election, a president who not only lost re-election, but lost it by millions of votes, and continues to tell his followers that they can do something to change it. This is how it all got started, and this is how it sadly has ended.
All right, Sebastian, first of all, Ameshia, 1 was killed, I believe 3 died additionally, but let's just be a little bit,
yes,
take a deep breath here. Sebastian, how do you respond to Ameshia's assessment of what went on?
Well, as somebody who spent 6 years teaching the U.S. military irregular warfare and counterterrorism, let's get our terms right. What happened yesterday was disgraceful, was shameful, was illegal, but it's not an insurrection. In human history, unarmed individuals have never executed an insurrection. And let's be clear, the white woman who was killed by police yesterday in the halls of Congress was unarmed. And I find it fascinating that she's worried about what happened yesterday, but is strangely not perturbed and doesn't use the word insurrection or mob violence for what Antifa and BLM did to America for the last 10 months. More than 30 Americans killed, half of them Black Americans, including David Dorn, the retired police captain, gunned down by Antifa as he was trying to protect his friend's store. So let's have some consistency, please, in how we talk about these sad events, whoever is responsible.
Ameshia.
Peacefully protesting for your civil rights and trying to ensure that you don't die at the hands of the police, like we've seen many people across this country who happen to look like me, is not going to be equated with what we saw yesterday. And quite frankly, I am disgusted that I continually hear conservatives who will try to race bait on issues like this. What I know about BLM, what I've seen across this country, and especially even in DC, when the largely peaceful protests were occurring, what we saw was that there were barricades put up, there were tanks, there were armored vehicles, there were so many security forces. Yesterday, what we knew for months was going to occur in this city, there was not any of that level of police presence at all. They were undermatched. We know that there was an IED bomb found. So please do not try to downplay the individuals and the attack that they did on our nation's capital yesterday, because it is just unbelievable. It is un-American. And these individuals who have continually followed this MAGA doctrine and this insanity that President Trump has talked about for years now, those were the people who came here and attacked this country. Those are the reasons why the entire international universe right now is looking at America and wondering what the hell is going on to our democracy.
All right. Let me get Sebastian for a final thought. Last word to you, Sebastian.
I don't hear you outraged for David Dorn. I don't hear you outraged for the federal agent shot in California, in Oakland.
I am outraged.
Why do you have double standards? Why do you have double
over and over again and try to
lie?
You lie. That is what I'm out.
Tanks on the
that
street.
Is not a part of
all right, Ameshia,
you're a propagandist. You're a propagandist.
Guys, Ameshia, allow Sebastian to finish. I gave you 2 cracks at that apple. Sebastian, your final thought.
Insanity. I mean, sheer insanity and disingenuousness. Tanks on the streets. Really, when Muriel Bowser pulled the National Guard out of D.C. as Black Lives Matter and Antifa were trying to burn down a church 1 block from the White House.
Let's try and tone it down here if we can. Heated on both sides, obviously. Ameshia Cross, Sebastian Gorka, thank you very much.